Welcome back to Market to Market. It is the only instrument invented in the 20th century, and it belongs to us right here in Trinidad and Tobago, the steel pan. This week on Made in TNT, we speak with entrepreneur Michael Cooper. Michael is taking the steel pan across the globe with his steel pan manufacturing and export company, Panland. What does Panland do?
Panland Trinidad and Tobago Limited is a manufacturer of steel pans, accessories, everything that goes with the steel pan, providing services for that product area, all of those products, as well as we provide powder coating services to the steel pan industry as well as any metal industry, refurbishing and coating of new product for industry in general.
What types of pans does Panland produce?
We produce every imaginable type of pan. Anything that you can call a pan, we produce. We produce the full conventional range of instruments that you'll see in the steel bands and so on, everything that exists there. We produce a very, very wide range of miniature product from 16-inch right down to 8-inch product that we package for different markets. And of course we produce all of the accessories, all the stands, all the sticks, we provide the cases. We have produced literature, we have made literature especially for the pans. We provide things for the steel pan like iron and scratcher, which are used in the steel pan. We make those, the irons here. And of course we provide services. We provide tuning services to customers. Like next month, we're going to be sending someone to Japan to service our distributor there. We service customers all over, wherever it's required. As well as the major one here, which is local, is our powder coating services, which we provide to the whole steel pan industry, so other steel pan manufacturers powder coat their pans.
Are you the only powder coaters?
No, we are not. But you wouldn't think that there is anybody else. We are quite prominent, you know. And we powder coat for marine. If you go out there, you would see fabricated windows and fences and anything that is metal and so on. Powder coating.
How long has Panland been in existence?
Well, Panland will celebrate 20 years actually next month, the 1st of August. Panland began in 1993 as Trinidad and Tobago Instruments Limited. We became Panland in 2006 following restructuring of our company, and we have been since.
What made you decide to get into pan manufacturing and exporting?
It is something that I sort of stumbled upon. This was in the early 90s, 1990, 91 to be exact, when I was an executive in the Marcy Group at the assembly plant in Arima, and we were looking for product to replace the motor vehicle assembly activity that that existed at the plant. The steel pan was one of the products that I came upon in our search. That was among quite a number of others, and we actually got involved with about 5 different products. The steel pan to me was the most attractive. So the answer to the question is Neil and Marcy got involved in steel pan manufacturing, well, through me of course, as an employee, and then within a year, that was in 1993, and a year after that, I separated from the group and assumed the ownership of the company, and went on my own, so to speak.
And how has that experience been for you, moving from an employee to an entrepreneurial journey?
I cannot say at the time that it was particularly, I mean, I really didn't even notice what was happening at the time, because it's something that you find yourself in, and you make some conscious decisions, and you just have the kind of confidence that you make the right decision, you know. Prior to that point, I delved a bit in business, you know, like personal business. I always wanted to try something. I wanted to be my own employer, so to speak, to employ people. So it was always something that I wanted to do, and I saw that as a great opportunity to move to that stage. How it felt to me, it felt like a major breakthrough. I think to most people, and I was told this, I suppose I looked like some sort of mad person because of the move. It was very risky sort of undertaking, and in an area that there was really nobody delving in that way before. So it was quite what I refer to quite the Columbus syndrome, you know, sort of just launching out. And but there were things in there that made me feel confident, and up to today I feel very good about the opportunity, although we have not really exploited or explored it to the max, you know, when we were close to the max.
Is the pan industry competitive?
Now, the pan industry in Trinidad is not defined. Okay, it's something I've been begging to do for the longest while. I think though that it is an industry that is very high potential in terms of its opportunities and in terms of its capability to employ people and to develop entrepreneurs and participants from persons who are not necessarily the high educated type. It's not a high-tech thing, it's a very skilled, very artisan type skill industry. If I can look at competitiveness within Trinidad and Tobago, I will say it is competitive, using the criteria of there being opportunity, using the criteria of the kind of earnings that people in the industry are capable of making. I mean, there are guys in the industry who are doing very well, you would be surprised. However, as an industry, there is not the kind of structure that will allow for establishments like Panland. There are very few. Well, there is none like Panland per se, but there are others who are at the commercial level and doing this kind of business, and there are not very many. So in terms of the business activity, there is a lot of cottage type activity where people are doing quite well.
What makes Panland different? What sets Panland apart from all the other pan companies?
Well, Panland has pursued a vision from inception that is different from what existed at the time, like 20 years ago, and even today, I think Panland is leading in pursuing that particular vision or that sort of those goals. And that is, we saw the steel pan as an export opportunity. We saw the steel pan as a commercial level opportunity as opposed to a retailing activity where you make pans and sell. We saw the steel pan as an industry, and we took a very conscious decision to develop that industry. The major component of this industry for its existence is the people in it and the skills that can allow it to take place. The capacity of the industry is determined by the skills, the number of skilled people you have in the industry. And Panland has been easily the most influential entity in developing skills for this industry. And today, we can easily boast of being the major contributor to the people who are considered the skilled artisans in the industry. The majority of the young tuners in Trinidad and Tobago have come out of Panland.
So Panland also trains people?
Well, we train formally, but also our system here, our product mix, and how we set ourselves up was to develop people continuously within the work environment by training activity, passing on, and that sort of thing. So a lot of people came through our system and developed and grew and built their skill, their skill capability through Panland.
So all the pans are handmade?
Pan is a handmade thing. The steel pan is made basically by hand. More recently, we have adapted some amount of mechanization, for want of a better word. We use, instead of using hammers and pounding, we now use pneumatic hammers, or what you might call a jackhammer, which is like an air-operated hammer that beats the metal. Rather than you have to do this, you hold it and it beats the metal, and it works faster, and of course fatigue and that sort of thing is minimized. But by and large, it's hand. You have to work it. So
how long does it take to manufacture a single pan?
A single tenor pan can take probably about 3 hours or so, 3 to 4 hours. Let us say half day for one of to make the pan, and then the tuning activity would take another half day, then you have to coat it and so on. So you would take probably a day and a half from start to finish, plus or minus. Some people might take less than a day and so on, but it has to be coated, it has to be retuned and so on.
It sounds like quite a lengthy process. What's the production level like for the year?
Production levels will vary the product mix at the time. Now, Panland has a very broad mix of product. When I talk about a pan and the time that it takes, we talk about the tenor pan, which is the full size, tenor pan. Besides the tenor pan, there are other instruments in the steel pan. The double tenor, double second go right down to bass. Those things will vary. And then our biggest production item actually is our mini pan or miniature pan series, of which we have 4 different models. And that is a very high potential market where we do some very large quantities. They vary depending. So production levels in terms of mix, we do a couple thousand of the miniature pans in a month. We can do. I'm not saying that we do. We just shipped about 1,600 to our customer.
Those miniature pans, are they purely for decoration, or they can actually be played?
Those miniature pans have nothing to do with decorations. In markets, the miniature pans are tuned just as the big pans are tuned. And they have to be tuned accurately because the customer will send them back. Those pans are used in a number of markets. Musical, starter musical instruments, musical toys, educational, right? And of course the gift market. Our miniature pans are not what the fella decided he will sell when he cut off a thing and he tuned the pan. That is not it. These pans that you see that may look simple are certified, have been tested fully. We have to send them to a lab as far away as Hong Kong for them to be certified for the markets that we are in, because they're going to be used by children in these markets, and they are going to be used for teaching music, which means that they have to be tuned. They can't be a dog. They can't be a dog.
What are the export markets you're involved in?
We have been involved in the export market all over the world.
Can you tell us some of the countries?
Well, the United States has been our biggest market. They are not our biggest market as we speak. Throughout the Caribbean, we produce instruments for. There are Panland instruments in every island practically. We deal with governments, we deal with individuals, we deal with shops, we deal with tourist level kind of retailers, we deal with educational level type of retailers, university in the US, in the States, Canada, in England, which emerged 2 years ago as one of our strongest markets. We have distributors there for the education system and for the retail music sector. Germany, France, Spain, Italy, we have pans in Austria, all over Europe, South America, Australia, Japan. We sent a tutor to the Maldives to teach for 3 months because we had instruments in the Maldives. We sent a tutor to Seoul in South Korea to teach because we supplied instruments there to the university, so we had to teach the teachers. We have been to China. Japan is one of our biggest customers, longest. We have a 14-year relationship with our customer in Japan. Actually, he was here this year right after Carnival, the biggest distributor in Japan. So, Slovakia, we have been all over.
How do you get into contact with these markets? How do you promote the pans, or Panland for that matter?
Well, our major promotion or export thrust had been through the trade shows. We belong to the National Association of Music Merchants, which is the umbrella body in the US for musical instruments and lighting, but all of the musical instruments that are manufactured or imported into the US, they are members of this particular body, NAM as we call it. And they have 2 shows during the course of the year, 2 trade shows. The biggest one is in January every year. And we have been exhibiting at NAM for quite a number of years. Recently we haven't, but we exhibited there for 9 years. We have also been to the Percussive Arts Society, their convention, and exhibited there. That body is the governing body for percussive type instruments, which would be all drums and all of those things under which the steel pan falls. We have also exhibited at Music Messe, which is the largest musical instrument show that is in Frankfurt. We were there up to 2 years ago. More recently, we have been to because we target in the toy markets. We have been to the toy fairs in New York and in Nuremberg as exhibitors. So we have been everywhere.
Let's talk about the supply chain for pan making. Where do you source the raw materials that are required to make the pans?
The drums for the bigger pans now are being made available locally through the subsidiary of NP that makes the drums. And but our smaller material we import our smaller materials.
We've come to the end of this week's episode of Market to Market. Thanks for staying with us. We hope you enjoyed the show. Let us know by connecting with us on Facebook and Twitter, and we'll see you next week. Take care.